I want to invite up here Paul Stellick. Paul used to work on staff at Watermark. He was in charge of our video and creative arts ministry. And about 7 years ago, Paul said, hey, Todd, I've got a vision to do more than just illustrate messages and share truth in creative ways. I want to make a movie. So we've talked to you about how we started Watermark Films and under Paul's leadership and Chris Mano. And we want to just give you a little update with what's going on, because I'm going to tell you something. It's really, really exciting. I'm going to say it now, I'll say it again at the end. We want you to go to seasonsofgray.com. It used to be Watermark, it still is watermarkfilms.com. Org. Yeah, watermarkfilms.org. But we're going to now start to promote the specific first movie that's coming out, seasonsofgray.com. So Paul, why don't you catch us up with what's been going on in the last couple of months?
Yeah, absolutely. So in February, Chris and I left our respective careers, came on staff, started Watermark Films. And so to show you a little clip right here, we've been pretty busy for the last couple of months getting ready for the film. We're going to start shooting in 4 weeks, and we're going to shoot for 6 weeks. And so it's a pretty large production. And so there we go. So about 1.5 years ago, we did a little screen test, but we've been doing auditions. We saw over 400 actors. Several hundred that came through the doors of Watermark that have never been here, that are not a part of the church anywhere, and got to come in and experience this campus and the people here. The gentleman that you see right there with the little goatee on the left, that's Andrew Cheney. He's an actor from LA that's going to be coming in to play our Joseph, who we call Brady, in the film. You probably saw a number of Watermark folks in there that are members here that have made it, that have been cast in the film as well. This is our team leads. We've had a number of great meetings, but these folks are just the leaders of a dozen different teams that are putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours volunteer to help put this together. Locations from a prison to a mansion to office space at One Arts Plaza to condos in Uptown to ranches. All of these locations God has just led us to and are generously just being loaned to us for the shoot. This office space in particular, it was furnished and vacant and available to us. And one of the neat things about that one is that we walked into that office space and it was laid out exactly the way we had written it into the script 5 years ago.
It's really exciting. There's been so many stories of God's just sovereign alignment. One of them, Paul and I have been talking a lot about the different roles and things that are going on. As he said, we've cast folks both in and outside our church. Our goal was to minister to the arts community in the way we made this film and worked with them throughout. That's already been happening, but also to involve people with gifts in our body. One part, though, we just couldn't fill. There's a scene when Joseph, or Brady, goes to jail, and there's a character he meets in that jail that is kind of his mentor, that reminds him of things that he knows to be true, but during this moment of betrayal and again being falsely accused, he finds himself wondering if there is a God, and this individual really kind of shepherds him and reminds him that there's a God whose hands he's always in. And we could not cast this part. And I was just out with a friend one day. I was engaging him. He was sharing with me about how his brother had been in prison for some different things and how the families really wrestled, but now they've just bumped into a guy who himself was in jail for 30 years, who now is a prison ministry and has really shepherded his brother and is helping him a lot. And he just said, Todd, I want you to meet him. I go, well, I want to meet him. I want to know more about what he's doing so he can align with our prison ministry. We can encourage him and hopefully he can encourage us. And he said, well, I want you to meet him. He's a really interesting guy. He's 6'7". He's, and his name's Roderick. So we met Roderick, and Paul and I had coffee with him just to kind of get a little insight into prison life. And as we got talking to him, this part we couldn't fill, the guy's name is Biggs. We were asking him about his 30 years in jail. And he said, well, when I was in jail, I didn't go by Roderick. My name was Big Lang. And we cast Big Lang, who for 30 years has been doing some character study on how to play this role. And he's in the movie. And just there's been so many things like that. That's his name. And Paul and Sarah had written that into the script, and but again and again. But here's what we want to let you know this morning. Just like there's been sovereign hookups all through this thing, there is a sovereign opportunity for you. This is a movie that's going to be made with quality that would cost in the millions of dollars to make, but we're making it in the fraction of cost, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, because it's a corporate effort. This thing's going to start shooting in 4 weeks. And for us to do that effectively at the cost we want to without compromising any excellence, not only has already members of this body provided that office space, the houses for different scenes that we have things going on, there's more opportunity to connect. So Paul, tell them about that.
Absolutely. And so now we're at the point where we need to finish out things such as wardrobe, props, set pieces. And those are things that we don't have line item budgets for because we know that those resources are a part of this body. And so we're asking you to go to seasonsofgrade.com and look at all the ways that you can get involved. And so you'll see lists of those things, everything from RVs on set. We're going to be shooting outside in the middle of June and July in Texas in 100 degrees for a week. Why we wrote it that way, I'm not sure. But we have to have somewhere to put actors to do hair and makeup and wardrobe. And so if you have an RV that we can use for that period of time because we don't have money to rent, a wardrobe trailer or a honey wagon, which are portable, movie star trailers. So there's a lot of different ways how to be an extra, how to get involved with catering. Your community group can sign up to bring breakfast to the cast and crew. We've got to feed 35 to 50 people twice a day on set. They're working 12, 14, 16-hour days. You can come out and minister to the cast and crew, many of these folks who aren't connected with us, and that's our intent. And so all of these ways are just really opportunities for you to share the story of ultimately the gospel, but of what we are doing as a church and a way to reach out into the community, reach out to your neighbors, reach out to your friends, reach out to your workplace and tell them this is what we're doing. And so that's already been happening every time we've been at one of these locations. There have been multiple and dozens of conversations happening about what we're doing, but then why we're doing it. And that is why we're in this business.
Folks ask us, what is the church doing making a movie? And a better question is, why isn't everybody doing everything they can to advance the message of hope that we have in the gospel? And so we hope that you join us. This is not a movie we're making. It's a movie we're making. And so every single person here has got a part. That idea of getting you on set where you can engage with the actors and love them day in and day out, we want to expose them to the body of Christ. We want to expose them to folks who love as he loved. And so jump in with us. Go to seasonsofgrade.com. Just throw your email address in there so you can be kept up to date with what's going on in the production of this movie. There's all kinds of opportunities. Most of the several $100,000 to make this movie has been raised, but there's opportunities there to finish out some small parts of that. But what we really want is you to know what's going on so you can begin to create the buzz and so that we can get in here together and take this movie. Folks, it'll never walk, not into only Watermark, but to any church anywhere, we think are going to be exposed to the truth of the gospel, that there's hope in the midst of a hopeless world, that there's a reason to forgive and love because you've been forgiven and loved, that really, frankly, will make the world cock its head. And who does that? And the answer is only people that have come to know the God that loves them and forgives them the way that they do through Christ. That's in this movie. You need to be a part of it so that you can own it with us and celebrate it. Seasonsofgrade.com. Sign up. There'll be constant updates, and you can look on there for ways that your sovereign connection can be made. Anything else? Do you guys have an app?
We don't.
You're so 1990s. All right, so sorry, Watermark Films is out of date technology-wise, but no, jump on seasonsofgrade.com, and right now, stand up and why don't you warmly greet one another. Glad you're here.